Holy cow, what is up with the action figure releases these days? Because it feels like it's completely raining Warhammer 40k action figures. We've had the recent review of the Gravis Captain as well as the Primaris Librarian in a recent Joy Toy Warhammer collaboration video. We've also had the release of the Blood Angels and the Death Company Intercessors as well. But today, we have even more coming. So, this is Sprues and Studs, and welcome on into another Besides the Bricks video. And in this one, we're going to be reviewing the very newly released Bandai Gravis Captain and see how that compares to the Joy Toy one that was reviewed not too long ago. So I ordered the Captain and Gravis Armor from Games Workshop about 8 or 9 months ago, probably closer about 9. And it was only recently, actually as in today, that I received this model, and I am very excited to bust it open for you guys. Look at this thing. This box totally screams primo compared to the Joy Toy one, and I can't wait to dig inside of this particular thing. For those of you who had the privilege of opening the Ultramarines Primaris Intercessor model, I am envious of you because I kind of missed out on that one. I get to make up for it by busting open this bad boy. So let's see exactly how it compares to the one that Joy Toy released. And obviously there is a vast difference between the cost of the Bandai one versus the Joy Toy one, as you see over here. So the Bandai one is $240 direct from Games Workshop. And this guy right here is $60 or $70 depending on where you get it. So in my review of the Captain and Gravis Armor by Joy Toy, there was a few mishaps that I had to unfortunately call them out on. So this Iron Halo, unfortunately, came to me completely broken. It fell off and it has been renewed by super glue. This Purity seal over here also had the same issue. It fell off. What thing that bothered me the most was the backpack and the cape also fell off, which was extremely disappointing to me and absolutely unexcusable in terms of quality control. I expect a lot more from a model that cost around $70 to obtain. So it has been rejuvenated and renewed by the wonders of cyanoacrylate, which is super glue. So it now looks like a fairly decent model, and now that I've actually fixed it, I actually like how it looks. It is a pretty badass model, but that's not what this particular video is about. It is about this guy. So join me in a few seconds, and we will bust open this bad boy and see what's inside, and I could probably guarantee you it does not have that many quality control issues as compared to this one. Just because Bandai is a very well-known company, and I know that the $240 premium is going to be worth the price paid in terms of the quality. So join me in a second, and we'll get to unboxing this bad boy. All right, folks. Now is the moment of truth. It is time to unbox this bad boy. Are you guys as excited as I am to bust this thing open? Because I sure am. So let's get this guy open. Packaging off. It is officially unwrapped. Profits lost. I can't sell it back for anything. And see what we have inside. So let's turn it around and face it in the correct direction. Ooh, very shiny. And apparently there is a instruction booklet on what you need to do. Ooh, it's the moment of truth, people. Let's open it up. Ooh, shiny. What's so nice? So it looks like when you and up the bottom, you have a bunch of different things, and now we have the captain with his very regal cape. It seems to have some sort of oil or resin on it. I'm not exactly too sure. probably part of the manufacturing process. And this is a very regal cloak. So there is very light shading on here, not as pronounced as what you would find in Joy Toy. However, I would have to say that the cloak is much cleaner than this one. You can see that, as I pointed out, there's a bunch of spots and dirt on this one, and there is no spots to be seen, although there are some slight painting defects over here. It doesn't really bother me. However, apparently this Gravis captain kept his cloak or cape in immaculate manner, much like most Ultramarines should. Then you have the backpack, and then I suppose this is what connects the Boltstorm gauntlet to the backpack. This is, I believe, the machine feeder for it. And then there's a bunch of cables as well as different hands, I suppose, they can use to grip the power sword. So let's put this guy out of the way and see the main model itself. Packaging is hermetically sealed, and that's exactly what I like. Oh man, look at this thing. What a model. Whew. Everything is intact, and this bad boy, oh my god, he's chunky. He is very, very heavy. Holy cow. He is insanely heavy because I believe that some of this model is made of die cast, and we have two different power swords here. This is a plastic power sword. As you can see here, there is very minimal shading here to be found on this thing. It's not as highly detailed as the Joy Toy one in terms of shading. So this is the Joy Toy one here. And as I pointed out on the last video, that there are actually electric arcs coming out from these nodes, which is an awesome representation of exactly what a power sword should look like. It really shouldn't be looking like this on the right hand side. It should be looking more like this. So kudos to Bandai for a very, very exact replica of the power sword. Now this power sword on my right hand side that I'm holding is very, very weighty. I think this is also made of a die cast material. So I'm wrapping this right now. And again, it has the electric arcs coming out of it, but the weight on this thing, I wish I could show you guys. It is very, very significantly weighted compared to this plastic one. So it is basically of the same sword. I think the detailing is, and the shading is probably slightly better on the plastic model. And there's more of a lead belcher kind of color on the plastic one versus this is, I suppose, some other medium silver color. But this is very weighty, and I'm actually surprised that they packaged a metal power sword along with this. So let's just take a look at the model itself and unwrap the various adornments here. And again, very accurate to the lore in the meta, and this is the Joy Toy version of it. As you can see, it has the scroll off to the left hand side as well as the bones. I'll have to say that the coloring is a lot more spot on with the Bandai model than the Joy Toy model, but then again, as I said, it comes with the premium price, and this is actually made of metal, and this is also made of metal, so you can feel the weight on this model a lot. So I will have to say that this is a very, very gorgeously detailed product, and as I said, I wish I could show you guys the sheer weight that is behind this model. It is a very, very hefty model for sure. As you can see here, there is a lot of shading on the shoulder pads as well in between the armor plating. There is shading over here, actually pretty much everywhere. The only thing that this model lacks is pretty much highlights. I wish that, you know, Joy Toy actually does a good job of highlighting the model here. so you can see all the different ridges as well as the crevices compared to the Bandai one. But in terms of just overall quality, what can I say, man? The Bandai one just completely knocks it out of the water. So there is a ratcheting system, much like the Joy Toy one, that allows you to hold the joints in place, which is good because I can imagine this model trying to hold this particular sword is very weighty. So you would want something to lock rather than having a 360-degree motion free flowing. And it looks like you can move the pauldron around to adapt to whatever pose that you want the captain to be. And same thing, it has apparently a 360-degree motion. Very, very poseable, very bendable. The knee obviously has a ratcheting motion to it so that you can pose your model as well, however you want to pose it. This is just, man, this is gorgeous. Look at that. The detail is absolutely impeccable. I cannot see any misprints or any kind of places where like the paint shouldn't be on this particular area of the model. And look at this gorgeous halo here. Again, no misprints whatsoever. This is just a model of fantastic detail. Again, I wish that there would have been some highlights over here. Maybe I'm demanding too much because I actually paint these models. Like I said, there's a good amount of shading here, but I think that, you know, maybe there's like arc armor or some kind of like Stormhole silver to pick out the ridges on this model to help this stand. But goodness gracious, this thing is absolutely phenomenal. Looks like there's some sort of like residue or glue over here that I'm not exactly too sure. Maybe it's from the super glue that they used, but it looks like that you can rub it off like how I'm doing right now. So there are instructions over here to help you attach the different armaments as well as the Boltstorm gauntlet to it. So let's detach this back plate. Oof, okay. Detach the back plate, step one. And then step two is to attach the Regal cloak to the back. And then you will need to reattach the back plate here. So we're gonna attach the backpack now. Okay, it snaps on pretty good. Okay, the backpack has been attached. So there's two different cables as it says. So this cable is a soft cable and the instruction guide recommends for posing, and these are for the, and these cables are hard, which it's recommending for the figure to stand upright. I don't know which one I'm gonna choose, so let's just use the soft cabling for posing purposes for this video. Okay, so what you're needing to do is put this particular tab into a slot, and let's push it in, it's already in, and then you will need to attach the bottom end of the cable to the foot. So you have one cable attached. Let's do the same for the other side. Put this tab in the slot as well, and then put this peg foot, and that is the cable that's attached. Very cool. And then the next thing to do is to attach the ammunition belt over here. This is for the Boltstorm gauntlet, and I believe it should be pretty simple, very plug and play. Need to push this in, I believe. Force it in. Oh, it just clips it right in. And then it should clip right into the backpack as well. It seems to take a little bit of force to push in. There we go. All right. Very cool. So obviously with this configuration, the captain cannot wield his power sword, so let us change out. The fist is a ball and socket joint. Wow, it came off really loose, as you can see here. I'm gonna put it off to the side, and then we're gonna pop this guy back in. Actually, compared to the Joy Toy ones, this goes in, well, pretty smoothly. I had no issues with that. And then let's have the captain wield his power sword. ready to smite the foes of the Emperor as I rip off the arm, or the hand. There you go. All right, we're good now. All right, this is sweet. Oh, goodness gracious me. So there you go. Here is the fully assembled Bandai figure. I would have to say that I'm very impressed with this guy. There is a lot to say about this in terms of the quality and the build. You can feel the model is very solid, very weighty, very heavy, and very, very expertly built. Wow, I didn't actually know that this was opposable, that you can open and close his fist as well. I would really highly rate this model, or this action figure. Obviously, this is only for display purposes, but this is truly a gorgeous model, probably one of the best ones that I have in my possession right now. So if you want to have a side-by-side comparison between the Chonky Boy on the left and the Chonky Boy on the right, you can see that the Bandai figure is about almost twice as tall as the Joy Toy one. And I will have to say that the Joy Toy one, in terms of build quality, as I said, there are issues here with the Iron Halo falling off, as well as the Purity Seal here falling off, as well as this part falling off. But the Bandai one does not have any sort of issue whatsoever. As I would say, my only gripe, and it's a very, very minor gripe, is that it doesn't seem to have as many highlights as the Joy Toy figure. But in terms of everything else, I mean, of course, this figure is almost 3 times more expensive than this one, so there's really something to be said about the build quality here. Is it worth it, 240 bucks? It's a bit on the steep side, I'll have to admit to you guys. To be honest with you, I've never actually held such a premium figure or owned such a premium figure ever, and this one really does eclipse Joy Toy's rendition. Don't get me wrong, this is still a very good model, but you can see that there are just quality differences between the Joy Toy one as well as this one. If you want your models super clean, then yeah, the Bandai one is definitely the way to go. However, if you want them, well, I guess kind of smaller and kind of dirtier and more weathered, then I suppose the Joy Toy one is where you want to go. But you know what? I'm very, very happy with this guy. I can't be... Wow, I'm so impressed with the build quality of this thing. This is just absolutely amazing. I can't exactly see too many things to gripe about. Again, the highlights. Maybe there's mold lines over here that I would have to say I wish that Bandai actually got rid of, but these are plastic models, so there's really nothing that you can do about the mold lines. It exists even on the Games Workshop miniatures. So this is Sprues and Studs, and I really hope that you enjoyed this unboxing video of the Primaris Captain and Gravis Armor that just got released by Bandai, and then the side-by-side comparison with his smaller sibling, the Joy Toy one. There's definitely going to be more comparison videos and more unboxing videos, so stay tuned, and as usual, I'll see you guys in the next one.